Morning, gang. Happy Thursday. So, wanted to do something here at the request from a few emails that I've got recently here. And I thought it was actually probably a good idea. We've added about 7,000 subscribers to the channel here in the last month. And I'm betting a lot of people are pretty new to prepping, okay? I mean, within the last year or so. And probably a lot that are even newer than that, okay? And I know you get into all the channels and, we're talking about step 6, step 7, step 8, and you're like, holy crap, how do I start, okay? And I want to give you guys some basics, okay? And these are good for even those of us who are seasoned at this, because maybe it gives us a chance to kind of go back and look a little bit and go, how am I sitting on that? So that's kind of what I wanted to do today. I wanted to touch on how to get started in all of this, rather than, you hear comments, like I said, us talking about ammunition shortages and buying silver and all this sort of stuff. And you're going, holy crap, what do I do on day one? Okay. So want to start here. The very first thing that you need to concern yourself with in any SHTF situation is shelter. And I know everybody's going to say, oh, no, it's not. It's something else. No, the first thing you have to have is shelter, all right? Whether that is your home, your apartment, your bug out location, whatever would be, okay? You have to have some sort of location you are going to be at. It makes no sense to go out and buy a whole bunch of stuff and then say, well, but I'm not staying here. Okay, well, if you're not staying here, why are you putting that whole bunch of stuff here if you're going to be somewhere else? I mean, if you're just planning on donating it to somebody else, go ahead and do that, okay? But if you're actually prepping for you and your family, the first thing you need to know is what location you're going to be at. Now, this isn't an end-all, be-all, okay? Because things will change. Obviously, in a minor SHTF, we have some skirmishes like what happened last year in Seattle or Portland, with the civil unrest. We'll just leave it at that word. You could have stayed in your apartment. You may not have wanted to go out for a couple of weeks, which I wouldn't blame you, but you could have stayed there, all right? And then you get into all sorts of craziness, where we could have economic collapse or war or a zombie apocalypse or whatever it would be, and you don't want to be in the city, okay? So, you need to have a plan of where you're going to ride it out. And for most people, that is going to be getting out of the cities and getting to the country somehow, okay? Whether it's a bug out location you've got in the woods, you're going to grandma's house, Little Red Riding Hood and the Big Bad Wolf, whatever it would be. Okay, but getting out of those heavily populated areas. So that is the very first thing you do, and that costs you nothing. That's making a decision. Where am I going to go? And like I said, it's not a 100% good thing. I live out in the country. I live in the freaking middle of nowhere, okay? This is my location. This is where I'm going to be. Does that mean no matter what happens, this is where I'm going to be? No, okay? If the Chinese come over the mountain, I'm leaving. If the whole forest around me catches fire, I'm leaving, okay? You cannot be prepared. Your location cannot be a 100% certainty. It can be 95, 96%, but there is always the chance that you need to leave, which is why you need to have a bug out bag, all right? And your bug out bag or a get home bag or whatever is something that you should have with you that is going to get you to that location, okay? And usually what people will suggest is you have 3 days worth of supplies in it, okay? You can't carry everything in there. 3 days is good. Change of clothes, 3 days worth of food, sustenance, okay? You're not putting T-bone steaks in there or something like that. Maybe it's a beef jerky, cans of tuna, something like that. Water, definitely you want to have there. Some sort of medical, minor medical equipment that you're going to have. There's 1,000,001 videos on bug out bags that you can go watch, all right? Do not plan on this being some backpacking trip through Europe where you're going to have this 140-pound bag on your back, okay? It needs to be small. It needs to be fully stocked, but you need to be able to walk with it, all right? So that is the second thing you need. And that kind of ties with the first. You need to have a location. You need to have a way to get there. Hopefully, you can get in your car, get on your motorcycle, your truck, whatever the hell it is, and get to wherever you want to be, all right? So those are the very bare bones basics that you need. A location and a way to get there. It may be on foot, okay? Hopefully your location isn't 1,500 miles away that you're planning on going. If you can drive it, even if it's halfway across the country, that's still going to take you 3 days, and you have no idea where, what you're going to encounter along the way, all right? So make it reasonable. We play in reality here. I know everybody wants to say that, we're all fantasy. No, we deal with reality better than anybody else deals with reality, all right? So make sure that bug out location you're going to go to is accessible, okay? So, all right, let's get past that. The next thing that you certainly want to deal with and take care of is your water situation, all right? You need water more than you need food, so you have to have water somehow. Now, which that means, like many people have said, stocking water, whether it's bottles of water that you're keeping, whether it's, the 5-gallon jugs you're keeping, whether you have a 55-gallon drum, whatever it would be, okay, somehow stocking water. But that's not going to last forever. So the other thing you need is some way to purify water. And there's 1,000,001 ways to do it, all right? Again, go look all this stuff up. You can use iodine. You can use bleach. You can use a Sawyer Mini or a Life Straw. Okay, you could use, I know everybody talks about Berkeys. You could hear about Berkeys. You can learn how to boil water. You can run it through a zero water, whatever it would be. But you need to have multiple ways to get water. You should have some, and you should have multiple ways to purify water. Water is life, okay? Without water, everything else you do is fruitless. So, learn how to purify water with bleach tablets, whatever it would be. Learn how to purify water with iodine. Get yourself a Life Straw. Get yourself a Sawyer Mini, whichever one you prefer. Okay, I prefer the Sawyer. Maybe you get yourself some sort of water purification system. I know a Berkey is expensive. It's not the end all be all. It's not the only way you can do this. All right, but the big thing in the prepping community that you have to remember: 2 is 1 and 1 is none. Because if you've got one way to purify water, all you have is a Sawyer Mini, for example, and you step on it, now you have no way to purify water. So, have a couple of ways. Have bleach tablets and a Sawyer Mini and iodine tablets or whatever it would be. Have a couple of different ways. That's crucial to get started with, all right? You need water. Next thing you're going to do is your food, okay? And again, if you think about, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, all right, this is exactly what we're talking about. Food, shelter, water. These are the very first things that you need to take care of, okay? Food. Now, nobody's telling you, and there's no possible way you're going to go to Walmart this afternoon and go, okay, I'm buying a year's worth of food. Unless you've got an unlimited bank account and, you have the most well-stocked Walmart that you could ever find, okay, it's not going to happen. Prepping is a journey. It is not a destination. You need to go and add whatever your budget allows. If your budget allows $10 a week to add to your preps, do it at $10 a week. If it allows you to add $50 a week, do it at $50 a week, okay? Get food that you're going to need to survive. That means proteins and vitamins, all right? So, rice and beans, those are the very first things that anybody will tell you to buy. Dried beans, pinto beans, something to make 5-bean soup out of, whatever it would be. That is hugely important, okay? Learn how to store them. There's videos all over the place on how to dry can beans, how to wet can beans, how to store them in plastic buckets with Mylar bags, whatever it would be. Go out and learn this stuff. You need to figure out how to do it. All right. I did a video a while back on foods that you need to survive. I'd highly suggest watching it if you're new. It'll tell you kind of what you need to be stockpiling. All right. Again, proteins. Maybe they're coming from where you don't think they will. Beans is a good protein. Peanut butter is a good protein. You're not going to be storing ribeye steaks. You're going to be storing cans of tuna fish, cans of chicken, cans of beef, whatever it would be. That's it. But again, remember, anything that you store, you have to use. You have to rotate it. If you don't eat canned beef, don't buy canned beef because it's going to sit in your pantry and spoil, and you just threw away money. So you need to have it, but you also need to know how to use it, okay? Use it in recipes. Try some different recipes. These are very, very simple things that you need to do. Shelter and getting to it, water and food, okay? And these are the very basics. If you're new to prepping, don't worry about weapons and ammunition. Don't worry about buying silver. Don't worry about all the fancy gadgets and everything like that you can have. That'll all come in time, all right? But if you're new to this, you can't eat silver. Silver's not going to keep rain off the top of your head. It's not going to keep you cold in the winter, all right? Keep you warm in the winter. Take care of the stuff, your absolute necessities first. Shelter, food, and water. You need to have, in my opinion at least, and there's reasons why, okay, 1 year worth of food in storage. My reasoning being is because you can grow more food and that gets you through an entire growing season. So you can grow enough to save for the next year, all right? That's the point. What are your water sources? What is your plan? Those are things that you need to look for at the very beginning. If you are failing in any of those, that's where all your effort should be going. If you don't have a couple of different ways to purify water, that's what you need to take care of today. If you've got that taken care of and you've got your shelter taken care of, then you need to focus on food until you have a year's worth of food put away. Until you have a year's worth of food put away, nothing else works. Not the neatest knife, not the coolest camping stove or whatever you can. That stuff's useless. If you've got a camping stove and no food to cook, big deal, okay? So focus on the basics if you're new. If you're a seasoned prepper, go back and look at your basics and make sure that your stuff that you still have, that Life Straw that you bought, make sure it's still good. Things do get old, things do get broken, and last thing you want to do is go, oh, I've got one upstairs, and you pull it out, and it's like, oh crap, something happened to it. I put something down on it, or a can fell on it and smashed it. Poof, done. End of story. So I wanted to get you guys back to the basics real quick. It's important for those of you who are new to the channel. Of course, I'm going to welcome you all. You can pick up some of this stuff by going back and watching old videos of mine. You can watch many, many other channels, but that's where you need to start. So I wanted to give you that as a little bit today based on some emails I've gotten, but y'all have a good Thursday. Pinball out.